what you're made for, and there's nothing that is too late for.
Hey there. I get so many questions from parents like, why does my teenager or young adult make no sense? I get so many questions from teens and young adults. Why do my parents have such crazy expectations? They don't even line up with each other, right? So here is what I say to you. Yes and yes. Yes, teens and young adults, your parents have crazy expectations that do not line up with each other. Yes, parents, your teen and young adult believe two deeply opposite things from each other, and they hold them so dear, both of them. How are you supposed to make sense of that? Well, I'll tell you why. It's this vocabulary right here. It's dialectic. Dialectic is where we have two things that can't both possibly be true and yet are true. So I'll give you an example. I desperately want grandbaby, and yet my kids, they're not about a grandbaby right now, which is chill, cool. I don't want people who don't want babies to be having babies, and yet I want a grandbaby. So those two beliefs, belief number one, I don't want people who don't want to have babies having babies. And belief number two, I want a grandbaby. Those two beliefs are opposite. How can one person hold both those beliefs? And yet I am holding them all day, every day. Wake up tomorrow, I'll be holding them again then tomorrow too. If I can hold two opposite beliefs, your teens and young adults can hold them too. If you are holding opposite beliefs, your parents are holding them too. For instance, I just want you to be happy, darling. There's a belief from parents. Then parents say, you need to go to graduate school, or you need to buy a house, or you need to get married. Now, those two things may not make sense, right? I just want you to be happy. Sounds like they just want you to be happy, right? They don't understand that buying a house is going to cost $1 gazillion trillion and make you house poor for years. And when you maybe want to travel, they don't understand that having a baby right now would not work out with your career or with your life goals. Maybe now, maybe never. They don't understand that their idea of happiness and your idea of happiness may be two very different things. Okay, parents, it's just like you have a teen or a college student that says, I want to live in a big fancy house like over there, and I don't think it matters so much what my job is. Those two things, you know from your experience, are not congruent. It's going to take a certain kind of job or a certain kind of way you spend your time in order to afford that big fancy house over there. And of course, who doesn't want their kid to have a big fancy house? I mean, I'm all about that stuff. I am not beyond couch surfing at my children's houses. No. I will do that all day long. But it doesn't happen right away, right? And it doesn't happen without them doing something. And what your teen may be saying to you is, that's not important to me right now, here on Tuesday in early 2024. Your teen may be saying, it's scary to think about that. And I just really want to daydream about houses right now. Mom, do you think you can cut me a break? So cut him a break. It's all right. It'll sort itself out. One of the things that's super important about the wisdom that a parent might have, or the wisdom that a teen might have, is that sometimes the universe has a way of breaking hard news to us. Sometimes I think it's preferable for the universe to teach a teen. It's going to take a lot of hard work to get that fancy schmancy mansion out there. And you know what? Your teen already knows this. Or even just like a little apartment up the street. It's going to take a lot of hard work. Your teen doesn't know that yet, but they'll figure it out. Along with things that like parents don't know. Like, just because you get good grades and you have, straight hair and straight teeth doesn't mean that the boys are all going to like you. Parents sometimes try to minimize social interactions among teenagers as if it has to be simple. It's not simple. It's super complex. And parents, you're saying to me, oh my gosh, but they just don't understand. I'm older. I'm wiser. I know things they don't know. Yes, you're older, you're wiser, and you know things they don't know. Guess what? They know things that you don't know either. You got to trust them. You got to trust those teens and adults you got around your house. I know it feels scary. I know you're used to planning their meals, planning their activities, picking out just the right coach for just the right activity, figuring out where you're going to get those Spider-Man sheets for their bed. All the things that you've done, all the planning you've done, all the thought you've done, all the prayers you've done, meditation, lighting candles, all of it. Honestly, it may not be what they want. And they may know things about the world that you don't know. For instance, your teen comes home from school and they are in a crabby mood. They are spitting fire. They are putting their eyeballs on you. Oh, the eyeballs. They storm into the house. They drop their books and they storm up to their bedroom. And you think, whew, I'm in the doghouse now. Right, Mom? Right, Dad? What you don't know is that your teen or your teenager has had a whole life that day that you don't know squat about. You don't know about the person who didn't like their shoes. You don't know about the teacher that had unreasonable expectations for that quiz. You don't know about the stress of having somebody bump into you all day long in the halls. You don't know about any of that. And you immediately look at their activity and you filter it through your own noggin. What is this about me? Please. It may not be about you at all. Now, mind you, it might be about you. Have you been a goofball? Have you messed up? Well, okay, it could be about you. But you don't have to believe that thought right away. We are all full of thoughts that don't align with each other, that don't make sense with each other. We can't reconcile these very easily. And who wants to? Because they're both true. I love Dr. Becky has a way of talking about the dialectic where she says, 2 things are true. Hell yes, Dr. Becky, 2 things are true in a dialectic. Teens, young adults, parents of teens and young adults, the thoughts of the people you're living with, the expectations of the people you're living with are not going to align, not even with your thoughts, but they aren't even going to align with their own thoughts. What do? Kick back, relax. Try not to roll your eyes too much. That goes for you too, Mom. But take some deep breaths and say, there's a lot I don't know about going on right now. And think of me and the dialectic and how it's okay for them to believe 2 things that are opposite, because you believe 2 things that are opposite too. And that you don't need to call that out or lecture them. Lean into each other, people, and enjoy the dialectic, because it's all you got at the end of the day. And for more tips and tricks, stick around here. Okay.